So let's talk through some of the design in a bit more detail. I showed you outside. That's attractive. Maybe we'll start that again. Hello voiceover artists and booth builders, Claire Wyatt here. I wanted to make this little video to take you through the process of designing and building this wonderful voiceover studio that I work from, so that maybe you could pick up some tips if you're building your own, or just if for those who are interested or nosy to see where I am, how I spend my days and what it looks like. Enjoy! So this is essentially a room within a room. So it's a soundproofed box that sits inside my my office. And the insulation is the key issue here. I'm referring to notes that this is the info pack that I gave to my builders. So I created plans for them, showing them exactly how I wanted it with measurements and specs and everything. And I should also do a little shout out to this book, Home Recording Studio, Build It Like the Pros. I picked up quite a lot of information there. I mean, it's technical, but actually it's really good to understand properly how acoustics works. So that I felt, I'm a real belts and braces girl. I like to be in control. And so I felt it was really good to really know my stuff. And then I could help my builders. I'd be reassured if they challenged me on any of the design, to be like, no, this is how it has to be. So the room within the room. So first of all, on the base, so the office is built. Then where I want my studio to be, I bought this special acoustic insulating, it's like rubber neoprene, it's a rubber matting, it's really thick. You can either do it in U-boats, you can get these individual little U-boats that your floor, the wood that creates your floor sits on. You'll see that in the images here. You can either use those, or you can get just like the sheet matting. And the sheet matting was just easier and a bit cheaper for this space. So that's what I did. And then you've got the frame that goes on that. And then you've got the rock wall that goes in there. And then you've got a hard floor that goes on top of that. The walls are what they called, it's a double layer, decoupled wall. Okay. So you've got two sheets of acoustic plasterboard that are glued together with this stuff called green glue, which is this magical acoustic glue that just stops sound getting in, but also stops sound getting out. It's the sound vibrations. So you've got two layers of that, then you've got a frame, then you've got rock wall, then you've got a little gap, an air gap, and then you've got another wall, exactly the same, repeating in the other direction. Now, one of the clever things that we did is that my outer wall sits on the neoprene floor, and then my inner wall sits on the frame the floor frame that sits on the inner wall. So I've actually got a box within a box within my office. So I sort of decoupled my studio again, which is another layer of design, which actually my builder came up with, which I thought was really clever. So that's how the walls work, and that's the same all the way around, floor and ceiling. So you create this incredibly airtight space, and then you have to ruin it by putting in things like windows and doors and ventilation, which is really depressing. So let's talk about the window. The window is built from, there's a frame, obviously, that sits in those decoupled frames. So we've got two double glazed units that sit inside this frame that's in, and then you angle the glass, and then the glass sits on acoustic sort of a neoprene tape. So again, it's sort of floating and bouncing. It's all about trying to disrupt and stop the sound waves from coming through. So I've got that, which brings in natural light, which is lovely. It also means that if I have somebody else in the studio here, I can see them because my other desk is through the window. The door, obviously, don't need to say much about that. I'll probably do that when we video through it. But fire door with these, it's like an acoustic liner that you can get that when it closes, it properly sucks into space and doesn't allow any air or anything through it. So that's good. Then air coming in and out. So I've got something called a baffle up there. So to give you an image of the baffle, it's just a way for air to get in or out. But if you just had a hole, you'd get that sort of whistling air thing going on. But if you make the air coming in move around, it just softens that noise. It baffles the noise, so you can get ventilation in or hot air out, but you baffle it in and out. And that's the same the other end, where I have an extractor fan, so I can suck hot air out. And again, that's done through a baffle. The tubing's done through a baffle. I found the quietest fan, extractor fan I could find on the market, and it's through the baffle, and again it's sitting inside an acoustically sealed double layered box and all of that. It's still too loud. I couldn't voice with it on, unfortunately, but it is God, it's good. Like, if it gets hot in here, I can, when I get to the editing stage or something, I can suck the air out and keeps it much, much nicer in here. What else? What else do I need to tell you? How long did it take? Well, months of me dreaming it, researching it, planning it, designing it. But from the builders coming in to me being in, it was a few weeks, 5 or 6 weeks probably. Some of that was delays in getting the ISDN line in, which is a bit of a pain. But it took a little while. But that's because I wanted to get it right. Cost. I would say it's probably about £1.5 in materials, about £1.5 in labour, and then I invested in new kit that I didn't have in the last studio, which is probably at least another £1,000. So you're looking at 4.5k, which in the grand scheme of things, in a 50-year career, isn't that much. And certainly for peace of mind, knowing that I'm giving my clients the best quality sound and studio, comfort and happiness, definitely up there. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I love it. I love it. I'm going to get a new curtain though. This little curtain behind me bothers me a bit. It was a curtain I had in the house, and just so you know, it just sort of hides some wrapping paper, bookshelf, storage. We had like a little bit of extra room back there, and I thought, well, why not use it for some storage space? You always need more storage, so I've got spare kit, boxes and stuff behind there, and rather than you guys having to look at that and go, oh, what's on a bookshelf, I thought I'd just put the curtain in front of it. So soon I'll have some sort of sexy Claire Wyatt voiceover logo back there maybe. But now I think what I should do is grab my mobile phone and give you a tour of the outside. Okay, so here I am in my lovely hallway. So the door, which we haven't yet painted, I know, to the office is here. It's got it's a fairly thick door, and it's got some sound insulation around it as well, so I can close that, which helps with soundproofing. And then into the office itself. I share the office with my wonderful husband, Alex Genn, copywriting. So he is in here with me, and then this is the main area where I do my editing and my paperwork and all that kind of stuff. And then this is the studio. Yay! What can I tell you while we're on the outside? I've got this, which is my PDM 300 mic. That just means that I can communicate to whoever's in the studio. So if I have outside folk coming in, I can talk to them while they're in there, and I can monitor and record from this area as well. So into the studio itself, really thick fire door. In the studio itself, you can see, as well as all the soundproofing, and I then put carpet on as well, and this is all part of soundproofing, but also now acoustic treatment. So I've got the tiles on the wall, I've got them on the ceiling, I've got bass traps in the corner, I've got carpet on the floor, I've got this big curtain behind me, which is hiding some storage. It's all part of creating this wonderful sound that my studio can create. In the studio, I'll take you through some of that stuff later, but you've got your codec for doing ISDN sessions. I've got my mixing desk, the Focusrite, everything I need, obviously my mic. And this is kind of cool, so if you come back to me a bit, when I want to do some video of me, the lighting isn't so great in here because I get downlight, but I can swap it to be like that, and then I get this lovely warm glow, which is nice. I also have, okay, can you hear my air conditioning? You're on the outside, but that's it on. That's it off. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear that. I've got the window open as well. So that's the tour. So here I am in my new studio. What can I tell you? The tech specs that you might be interested in. It's a fully sound insulated studio with acoustic treatment all the way around it, top and bottom, as well, obviously. I use a Rode NT1A mic with a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 USB interface. I've got over here the Prima LT codec. I use a Soundcraft EP M6 mixer, and outside I've got the PDM 300 desk mic, so I can monitor people out there and communicate should I ever have anybody else here in the studio. I use Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro 880 OHM headphones. They're really good for monitoring while you're working, but also editing as well. So I've got the ISDN line. I also have Source Connect now, IPDTL, Skype, Google Hangouts, mobile phone, good old-fashioned landline. I use Reaper for audio production, and can obviously create files in any format people want. So that's the kit. You can probably read in more detail. I'll do a blog to go with this video. But the research was key, and I'm really, really thrilled with the sound quality. I've got my mic quite high up there. It is here. Hello. So obviously this is not normal voiceover distance, but just so you didn't have to. You can see my beautiful face and not have to see the mic in front of me. Anyway, I can't think what else I need to tell you. So let's leave it there. I hope this has been useful. And I hope you enjoy listening, reading, watching this. And if you've got any thoughts, let me know. www.clairewyatt.com. If you'd like to know more, if you think I've missed something, drop me an email. And I will try and help you out. Thanks, bye. Mute. It was on mute again. Genius.